Would you believe it's that time already? It's Monday night, and it's time for Blissfull, hosted by very own Deborah O'Brien. Blissfull, here every Monday night on New Early International. Here she is herself, your host, Deborah O'Brien. You're live.
Hello, everyone. I'm Deborah O'Brien, your host of Blissfull, and I am so happy to welcome you to our show with today's very special guest, Deirdre Hade. And I want to tell you just a little bit about Deirdre. She's just an amazing woman. She's a modern-day mystic, a poet, a healer, a visionary leader, and as the founder of Radiance Healing and Meditation, she has led thousands of people all over the world. And I just can't believe she's right here with us today. So welcome, Deirdre.
Thank you. It's really a pleasure to be here with you today. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Oh, thank you. You're just as beautiful as I imagined.
Oh, thank you.
Just filled with spirit. And I'm so happy to finally meet you. I've heard so much about you. And I just wanted to thank you for your fabulous book. It's been so much fun to just keep going over the pages. Oh, and it's just the sweetest book, but it's so profound. And, it's like mesmerizing. And the way you say things, your prose and your poetry, it's just compelling. So you keep going back to the book. And I just love the name. It is the almost. It's almost there, but it is. It's quite a lot of secrets in that book.
Yes, there are lots of secrets in that book.
Lots of secrets.
Well,
So,
thank you so much.
can you tell us something about all the surprises in there?
Yes, I'd be glad to. First of all, my husband, Will Arntz, who was the creator, director, writer of What the Bleep Do We Know that came out about 10 years ago with Marley Matlin. It was about consciousness and how our thoughts create our reality. He is my husband now. We've been together. We actually met at a retreat that I was giving and became friends. And anyway, he knows about my body of work and has been with me probably for about 5 years. And he just said one day, I want to go into your mystical experiences, these messages you've been given and you see, and I really feel it's time to bring them into the world. I'd like to put them together in a book. And I was very happy. I said, yes, thank you, because I didn't even know where to start because there was so much.
Right.
To begin. And because of his third eye and him being a filmmaker, he just pulled out what he felt was really needed for the world today. We have a joke because he said to me, now I'll do this, but I get to pick the quotes. And I don't want you to see it till I'm finished. So he said, we're going to call it the Little Book of Surprises, because what you say, or this mystical knowledge for people, is very surprising. I loved it. And then I said, well, we should have photos with it, pictures. And he said, I agree. And we contacted Indre Balog, who is an award-winning photographer and a concert violinist. And Indre said, well, I have 3,000 photos. Take your pick. So we'll pull these incredible photos out and images, sacred geometries. And it was so beautiful. Will said, and I both said, wow, we need to make the book bigger, not a little book, a big book because the photos are so pretty. So I said, but what are we going to do? It's the little book of surprises. And he said, well, we'll just call it the not so little book.
Oh, I love it.
So
That was a great idea.
yeah.
Well, it is so full of surprises.
Thank you.
Every page is a surprise.
Thank
And you know, it's like your soul is speaking to the reader.
you.
And it really touches you so deep inside that you just have to stop and just sigh. I kept going like, oh, that is so profound. And of course, the photography is so astounding. So the combination is just so beautiful. And, you know, I think it would make the best Christmas present ever for people who just need to get something really special for someone. So I was thinking, isn't it perfect timing that the book is just coming out now and time for Christmas gifts?
Absolutely. We really made this to be a gift item. Here, I have it right here.
Oh, good.
Not so little book of surprises. It's a beautifully printed book. It's printed by the people who print the Tarshan books, all the art books. They said it was their favorite book they've printed in 7 years. It has a beautiful quality. Every page, the paper is that high gloss, semi-gloss paper, so you really feel the weight of the pages. And we think we made it to be a conversation piece. So if it's sitting on a table or by a chair, it's meant to create conversation because every page has some piece of wisdom or inspiration and a beautiful photo. The photography and the words together, I really felt from my seeing that, wow, we can bring people, we can bring you into a journey, into an experience, because it's the words and the beautiful imagery. So it's very satisfying. And we want to promote reading. We want to promote we want to promote you to sit and enjoy a book and cozy up, something that's fun, something that will compete with the iPhone or a computer and win.
Yes.
So we made it to win so that you would remember the enjoyment of sitting and holding something that nurtures your soul.
Oh, well, thank you.
Holidays.
It's so wonderful. You know, your publicist, Dia, sent me the PDF, and I haven't received my book yet, although I've ordered it. So instead of going to Facebook or, you know, doing something else on the internet, I just keep scrolling through the pages. And I am compelled to keep going back and back and back for more. So I know it will be one of those books. You'll put it on your coffee table, and every day you could just have another look.
Another look, absolutely. Yeah. One of my favorite photos, I'm going to find it. Oh, this is one. Let me see. This is one of my favorites. I'm going to open it right now. Actually, after Will put the book together and showed it to me, I actually got to have a say-so in the book. And I didn't pull anything out, but I put a few things in. This is one I put in, and these, I want to see if you can see that. I don't know if it works to see the photo of the bee.
Oh, yes, the bee.
So this is,
aren't
they beautiful?
Beautiful.
And the bees are very spiritual creatures. Bees hold wisdom. Bees have the consciousness of wisdom, community, working together. They hold that energy for us as humans. And we have a lot to learn from the bees.
We do.
This is a message that the bees gave me. I'll just read it. It says, there was a time when you knew how to understand nature's language. Listen, and she will teach you. of stars and realms of magical things, of truth and wisdom unseen. For when you learn to speak to her again, all of nature will be your friend.
That's so beautiful and so true.
So true. And so on this page with the honeybees and the lavender, and of course lavender is the flower of Mary Magdalene. It comes from the south of France. Lavender is a healing property and the properties of the divine feminine. So this page that we orchestrated is wisdom with the divine feminine. So when you read the page, that energy goes into it, absorbs into you, because my goal is for you to not just read this page, but because of the energy that I've been gifted to hold, gifted to give to people, the radiance healing, that these words go into your soul and open the doorway, ignite the place in you where you can hear nature again. Because you can hear nature, it's just we lose that skill, we lose that ability because we don't practice. But I want for you to open those gates and those doors so that one day you go, oh wait, did I just hear that voice come from nature or from my pet or from a bird in a tree? And that's the mystical experience. And I found, in all my years of working with people, that really one of the great sadnesses of the soul is that the soul doesn't get enough magic time.
Yeah.
We're so busy, go. And when the soul doesn't get its magic time, it gets sad. And when we get sad, we start to get sick. We start to get depressed, we get angry. We get really angry when our soul doesn't get to have its magic time. And so I made this book because I want you to have magic time. And I said, well, this will work if you just have
it works.
You open it right. Get to have that time. And so your soul will be happy and then you'll be happy.
Oh, I just love it because this is the trouble with the world today, is that everyone's so busy and connected to, the internet and all these other electronic devices that people don't listen anymore.
No.
It's so sad.
It's sad. And people are angry and people are depressed, people are tired, and people are getting sick. And a healer, what I look for is, what the root. What's the root of that illness? And the root always goes back to the soul and what your soul's experience is in this world. Is your soul being nurtured? Is your soul being cared for? Are you listening to your soul? Are you taking care of your soul? Because when we don't do that, when we're distracted and we live only in the ego mind, the soul begins to weep. The soul literally weeps. And when that happens, that energy, because the soul is our light, it's what gives us life. Right?
Right.
What gives us life. Otherwise, we would be just alive, right?
We would be here.
So the soul, which is our light, must be nourished and cared for by our ego self. But our ego self forgets about the soul. Because we don't talk about it in our modern age very much. In the indigenous cultures and ancient times, we talk about the soul, but we don't talk about it that much. So I just wanted to start us to have that conversation through the little book of surprises of, oh, right, my soul.
I think it's wonderful because maybe 10 years ago, if you wrote that book, people would think, oh, that's a little weird.
Exactly.
But I think today people are really ready to hear you talk about how we should talk to our soul. And
absolutely.
It's the timing so beautiful.
Well, thank you. And again, my dear husband, and then I have a group of people that study with me. It's all volunteer. I just say, hey, anybody want to listen? And people that show up, I say, Now you're studying with me. It's that organized. Anyway, they said, well, we think it's time. We think the world's ready. And so many of these teachings and these wisdom pearls are 10 years old. And I knew, well, they're not ready. They're not ready yet. I appreciate that confirmation. Thank you so much.
Oh, I thank you. I know you're making the world a much better place.
Thank you.
Doesn't that feel wonderful?
Well, it does. It does feel wonderful, but more than just wonderful, I feel as though I will be able to go to my Creator and say, okay, did I do a good job for you? How'd I do? I just want to do right by the gift of sight, spiritual sight that God has given me, and I take it very seriously as a duty to be clear, be out of my ego, be of service, service. So it makes me so happy that when people receive it, because I think, oh great, I'm doing right by the gift.
Beautiful. But you just amaze me, because I know your children are still young, and you have a husband and a home, and it's like, and you do all these things, and I'm like, how do you balance it all? And
that's a very good question. I don't know how I do. I always feel like I'm 2 hours behind. Like this morning, I made in the morning when I wake up, I'm very clear. I bring the light in to my tree of life. I get myself ready for the day. And then I write down the day, like what the most important, I always say to God, what's the most important thing I need to do today? Give me an order, and I make a list. Well, today, guess what? I lost the list. I was running around looking for, I said, okay, God is teasing me. God's having fun with me because God took my list. Now I don't know what I'm supposed to do today. I know, but I don't know, if you know what I mean.
Right.
So it is always very colorful on how to balance the work I do out in the world and being here with you, which is my great joy, and taking care of my kids and the family. And what I've tried to do is just incorporate it as all one big family operation, so that it's not perfect. It won't be perfect. Sometimes I just want to pull my hair out because I didn't get something right. But I figure if I just keep showing up and doing the best I can and asking God and all the angels for a lot of help, that at the end of the day, it'll all work out.
It will. You can't miss, because you'll be doing it God's way with His help. You'll be fine.
And you too, you're such a beautiful, beautiful light. What's your story? Tell me how you got inspired to do this show. And
it's been quite a journey. About 26 years ago, I OD'd on pills and alcohol. And when I was dying, I had a spiritual experience. And from then on, my life was transformed. You know how you talk about surprise? That was a big surprise.
Oh, huge.
Huge. And I think transformation always does take you by surprise. But while I was supposedly dying, I went through 10 stages. And then I entered into a state of bliss. And then, like a couple of years ago, I wrote the book, bliss behind the mask, which was my story about what happened. But it took me all those years to get the courage to write my story, because I thought everyone would think I was crazy. So, and now today, my mission is to help other people find the hope and not give up, and by having a show like this with the opportunity for people to hear people like you, it's just wonderful, because people are so hungry and their souls are so aching for this message.
Yes. What a beautiful story. Thank you for sharing. Well, you definitely have a purpose here to bring hope. You were not meant to leave. You really were meant to be here. And it's also a very inspiring story, because people today, those of you who are out there, I mean, I understand those struggles with hopelessness, despair, and addiction. I work with a lot of people in the 12-step program, and who are wrestling with addiction. And what I have to say, can I say a little something?
Sure.
We, our soul is always looking for the light, for the connection to God, for an experience greater than ourselves, greater than our mundane self. And sometimes on that journey of finding the greatness of ourself and the experience of something greater, we get caught on, let's say there's two rivers to go to light, and we get caught on the one that's through the nighttime.
Yeah.
So we get on the river of the nighttime, and the river of the nighttime is addiction. But that river leads us, all who go through addiction know, ultimately to the light. And if you can see the light and find the light and forgive yourself, and take off the blame, and just say, I took a corner, but I went down the dark path to God. So I'm here, but there is light, and there is hope. There is always hope, because of the physiology of who we are. It's very easy for the body to become, quote, addicted to a substance. And so in order to overcome that body function of addiction, of cellular addiction to survive, what I have found, the key to being able to overcome the body's physiology is profound and deep prayer. Profound and deep prayer. And that prayer is like a string of light that will get you to the other side. I've worked with many people that have been through addiction, and in my own life as a young woman, I had a very severe eating disorder, and almost took my life. I really was in such a state of despair over this eating disorder. It was a very dark time for me, and I searched out God, and I was given grace, and that eating disorder was lifted. It was lifted. It was a miracle, and the recovery rate for eating disorders are 1%.
Right.
1%.
Wow.
I was given a grace, and I always said, well, I want to give back. So that's part of the work. And in the book here, in Surprises, many of the pages are tools for you for your soul. They're speaking to your soul to give you strength to get through those difficulties that sometimes we find ourselves in. It's part of our human experience. But we need the tools, and many of them are in this book. It doesn't say it right up front. It doesn't say, oh, here's step one if you have an addiction. It's much more mysterious than that. But if you approach it that way, you will see, you'll say, oh, that's going to help me.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
And I found that going throughout all the pages. But I think the thing that struck me the most, it really hit me home, was how you said every soul is redeemable.
Right.
And I think, when we're addicts and we're down and out and we're at the bottom, we think there's no way back because we're just crap, you know? And we don't think that we are worthy or ever going to be able to get out of that hole. We're just hopeless.
Yeah.
And so your words were so beautiful about the soul. Can you tell us a little bit about that, where you say the soul is redeemable?
Oh, absolutely. There's two passages I like to read that speak to that. And I'll find it just a minute. You would think I would know exactly what page everything's on.
You'd think I would know too.
I know
Because I keep going back to it.
But I have it. Okay. So there's two that I want to read. Okay, here we go. All right. So I'm going to go backward. I'm going to read one and then the other. So the first one, I'm going to show the picture for everybody.
Yeah.
Andre's photo. See the light going into the dark.
Yes.
So the quote from here says, and this is very important to know, it says, the extraordinary pull of the darkness is always upon us. It takes great resistance not to be pulled into the force of darkness. But even if you have been pulled into that world, however it looks for you, one moment of light, one breath of truth can sustain you in that darkness. That is how powerful the light is. Nothing is more powerful than the light, the experience of light. Be aware of those moments of light, no matter how small they are. And like a string of pearls, the moments of light will see you through the darkness.
It's beautiful.
And then the next one, and this was my favorite little guy. You see him.
Yes, that little guy.
That little guy. And then his heart so bright. He's like, what's this? This is what you're asking about. Your soul is pure. Nothing can touch it. Nothing can harm it. Even if your soul is, as they say, taken by the devil, even if you fall in a chasm of darkness, your soul remains pure. It is redeemable. The soul of the evilest person is redeemable because the soul was made by God. And that is what Jesus meant when he said, love your enemy. It is that you are to love the pure light within the soul of your enemy. Nowhere does it say to love the actions of bad behavior.
So beautiful. I just love that. And I want to ask you though, sometimes you look into someone and you try to see that light and you can't find it.
Right.
And you know it's there. So how can you, maybe you can, but how can an average person love someone that has hurt them so much and has really destroyed their life? How can they see that light in the other person?
That's an excellent question. Thank you for asking, because it's not so easy.
No.
Not so easy to do, especially
No.
when you've been deeply hurt. First of all, it's important to know that if there's someone who has hurt you, that someone who has fallen into darkness, into some very bad behavior, that loving that person doesn't mean that you have to be around them, see them, or talk to them, because they may still be in that darkness, and that's not good for you. So you need to be healthy and protect yourself. Well, what I mean about love is that from a distance, meaning you don't have to be with them, or if you are with them and that's just the way life has worked out, then you are. But what I mean by seeing the light is to be, when you feel in yourself, your moments come up of anger or hatred or fear or judgment, any of those, you just simply say a prayer. You say, God, help me see the light in this person. You can see the light. I can't see it right now. But if you can see it, that's good enough. And turn it over to God. Because we can't always see it.
No.
But, the day comes when we can. But
We will.
Yeah, until then, if we acknowledge, God, you see the light in that person. See, the important thing is when you see the light in a person, even when you say to God, God, you see the light in the person, I can't see it, help me with this. What happens is by seeing the light, you heal the person.
Oh, isn't that wonderful?
That's how that works.
Oh.
And you can do this remotely, meaning you don't have to be right with the person. There are people in our lives where it's healthier and wiser not to be in their presence.
Right.
But even from a distance, because you think about them, whenever there's an energetic connect, especially with pain, it's always with you. You want it to go away, but it's always with you.
Right.
So when you're thinking of that person or that anger comes in, you ruminate about it, say, God, help me see the light in that person. I can't see it, but if you can see it, that's good enough. The important thing is that you go to God and you have that conversation. And by you and or God seeing that light. Sorry.
Well, that's like, it's like it's